You can't see me though.
Hello everyone, and welcome to my channel. My name is Kasie Oswald, and this is my classroom. I'm going to find my friends. Oh, now it says live. It's different every time. So hello, Deborah, Samantha, Stephanie, Deanne, oh, and Kasie. Thanks for coming, everybody. Let me get my Zoom back up so I can see all of my friends. I'm like a step behind today, guys. I don't know.
I feel like we're the Brady Bunch.
I know.
Right? All right. Welcome, everybody in the chat, and welcome, my friends, our panel today. If you guys could introduce yourself and tell us what companies you work for, and then let us know what company you'll talk about today. But we'll get into talking about them in just a little bit. So I guess we can actually go in order to say hello, too. Number one is going to be, okay, is it Tamara or Tamara?
Tamara.
Tamara, okay. Tamara, it's a little bit quiet on your end.
It is.
Is it for you guys too, or just me?
Yeah, it's
quiet.
It's
kind
of quiet to me. Hello, hello. Is that better?
Yep.
Yeah, a little quiet because I'm at the airport, but
oh yeah,
but that's okay. So I work for 4 companies. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. I work for VIPKid, Zebra English. Those are the 2 Chinese companies. I work for Outschool, and then a company called SplashLearn, which is teaching math to kids here in the U.S. But I'm going to be talking about Zebra English today.
Awesome. I guess I should have it ready. Number 2, who did I say was going second? Sabrina, right? Sabrina?
Me? Okay. My name is Sabrina Legacy. I work for QKids, Magic Years, Zebra English, InKids, and Outschool. I have a lot of them, but I mainly I'm going to be talking about QKids today, and I give most of my time to QKids and for the Chinese companies, and Outschool right now is where I'm focusing. So,
Great. Leah?
I work for VIPKid, Outschool, and QKids, but I'm focusing on VIPKid today. VIPKid is my foundation company. I worked for them solely for 2 years, almost 7,000 classes taught, and making an average of $3,000 per month with VIPKid. But I am going to back off of teaching so that I can help my favorite little online teachers, or those that are interested in becoming an online teacher, become more successful. So I have to back off the 10 back to back to help everyone else do just as successfully as I have.
Good. And Leah, was she a little bit quiet for all of you too, or good?
Or was I good?
no,
Okay.
I
Be louder.
No, you're good.
Probably me. Okay. And number 4 is going to be Rachel.
Hi, I'm Rachel Schwinghammer, and I work for Itutor and VIPKid, and Outschool, so 3 of them. I just started at Outschool, so I haven't taught any classes yet and setting up my profile. For VIPKid, I'll be working with them for 4 years, and I tutor 4 years come fall, and then VIPKid. No, for iTutor, it will be, I think it's been 2 years with them. So I teach ESL with VIPKid, and then iTutor, not to be confused with iTutor Group, because they're different. I think iTutor is the smaller of the one. So you can remember like itutor.com, and I teach math with them and reading. And those are with kids in the US as well.
Great. Let's see. Number 5, Kasie. The other Kasie.
Yay! It's always fun having to. So hi everyone, I'm Kasie, and I work for 4 or 5 companies. Hard to keep track. I'm with VIPKid mostly, and I've been with them the longest, so for over 2 years now. And then I'm also with GoGoKid, Palfish, and recently Outschool, and I've started my first class in the past week, which has been really fun, and I've had some full classes, so that's been really exciting. And I'm technically with Native. I was telling the other Kasie, but they're having a hard time getting like started. So yeah, so 4 to 5 companies.
And you said today is Palfish, right?
Today is Palfish, yes. Yeah.
Good. And Melissa.
All right, hello. So I'm Melissa. I started with VIPKid a little over 3 years ago, almost 3.5 years. And so they're my foundation, over 5,000 classes taught, and I've been able to move up a little bit in the company, help with those builders programs. And then I've been with Outschool for over a year. So I've probably been with it the longest, but I haven't taught that many classes, I think 8 total in that year, but have been sort of ramping up, offering more classes recently, and learned a lot more about, you know, how it works and maybe how you should promote yourself there. So that's what I'm talking about today, Outschool.
Good. And Tess, where are you? There you are.
I'm here. I'm the one who hasn't got an American accent.
We love it.
I'm on a Friday night in the UK, but I work for Wales English, and I've been with them for a little over 7 months. And I actually only work for Wales. When I started teaching online, I did start working for, say, ABC a little bit, but I found that it didn't really suit me as a company. So I jumped all in with Wales, and I have to say I don't regret it at all, because I have a really full schedule. I'm doing promotional work with them as well for their YouTube channel already, and a little bit like Leah, I'm now helping new recruits onboarding and getting into Wales, because they're doing quite well at the moment. We're busy.
Good, very good. And I know we've got some questions for you later. And like I said, my name's Kasie Oswald. I'm not sure if it started working as soon as we came on here. So not yesterday, but the day before, I talked about VIPKid. And today I'm just letting people know that I have the TEFL and TESOL affiliate link. If anybody has questions about that, you can get your TEFL or your TESOL from the International Open Academy, and it's like $19 using my link, so it's pretty good. And I know a lot of people were looking for that during our last chat, so I just wanted to throw that out there. But I'm going to let these ladies talk about their companies. And I mean, we've got one in the airport, we've got kids having school online coming up soon, so we're going to get started right away. And I will try not to talk much. Feel free to put questions in the chat, all in caps lock, so I can find them easily. And hello again to everybody that just joined us. We have 20 people in the chat. Thanks for coming. And let's get started right away with Tamara from Zebra English.
Thank you. So Zebra English is, I was looking for a company to add to VIPKid way back when things started getting a little turbulent there. And someone told me about Zebra English, so I decided to try and get on board there. And so far, it's been great. I was looking for something that was different enough that, but not so different that I'd have to relearn everything. And Zebra totally fit the bill. It's been around for over 10 years as a company, but they've only been doing the one-on-one classes for a year. So it's actually an app that the kids use to learn English, and they have over 500,000 students on this app. And then they started the one-on-one as a supplement to the app. So the kids take 4 days or 4 lessons of app training, I guess, and then they come to you for just a little bit more correction. So they come to you knowing the material already. You're not teaching them from scratch. And you start, Zebra English books trials for you. And then if you convert the trial student, then that student is yours for life, as long as you're both on the platform until they graduate from the Zebra English school, whatever. So you don't have to worry about getting bookings. You don't have to worry about anything. Once you convert enough students, then you'll have a regular schedule and never have to worry again. So I really like that. Their goal is to keep you 70% booked. So that is one issue right now, is that about 2 days ago, everybody in the application process got rejection letters. And it was quite terrifying for most people. And then a lot of them were actually getting letters that it was a glitch and they're sorry. But there's still unsure. Nobody really knows if they actually stopped hiring for the moment or if they'll continue. They keep telling us teachers that they are still hiring, but only like the best of the best. So it's really difficult to get hired on there, but it's still possible. That's what they tell us, but it's hard to say. I don't know. I don't know. It's up in the air right now. But the people that are going through should be able to continue the process as of now. But I don't know. The kids are only between 3 and 8, unlike 3 and 12 at VIPKid. They're younger. The platform is mostly game-based, so you play a lot of games with the students, and then they have these little conversation animation things where you listen to a conversation between two characters, and then you have the conversation with your student. So it's kind of fun to teach conversational skills, but it is just so much fun. Every time I teach for Zebra English, I feel more energy than I did before, before I started teaching. And it's a great thing. The one thing I really do like about them is that when you send in a ticket or you call the fireman or you do any of that, you get a real person answering you, a genuine email or letter or whatever, a genuine response. There's no canned responses that I've had yet as of this time. So I really do like that. I feel like it's still a very small company as far as the teachers are concerned. And so far it's been great. I've been with them for about just maybe 5 months now. But it's been a great experience, and I love it.
Great. So just so the panel knows and the people in the chat, I'm not trying to be rude. Down here is the chat box, the live chat. So I get your questions here on my iPad. So if you see me looking down here, I'm just trying to do 2 things at once. So now Tamara has to leave early. So if you have questions on Zebra English, please put them in all caps, and I will put those through to her soon. So, all right, Tamara, I think, did you cover everything or did I interrupt? Because I do that.
I covered everything in my notes. Yeah, I mean, if you do end up wanting to work for Zebra English, hopefully after all this out and they start a more regular hiring spree again, I will say if you want to be fully booked, your chances are better if you can open 12 weeks out, like a consistent time for 12 weeks, and if you can work weekends. Our Friday nights through Sunday mornings are the best times to get booked because they like to take their app classes during the week, and then they like to see you on the weekends. Of course, you can work, same with VIPKid, you can work any day or night, morning or evening, but your chances are higher of getting fully booked on the weekends.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, I love it. It's great.
I heard it's fun.
It's so much fun.
Sabrina with QKids.
Hi, yes, QKids. I found QKids a year ago. It's been almost an exact year since I started working with them, July 1st.
Oh, wow.
So it's coming up. I originally started with VIPKid. I couldn't wait for the bookings to build up. So I found Magic Years and I enjoyed it there. But then things really slowed down last year and I felt like it was time to add an additional company. So I believe in having your eggs in multiple baskets. Obviously, if I have like 5 companies, right. Because you just never know what's going to happen in the online teaching world. So I started looking at companies and I chose QKids and I'm so glad I did. I fell in love with them. And basically from the get-go, I was booked 100%. So, and I'm booked 100% every single week. So I can't complain. So basically the requirements to work for QKids is you need to have a bachelor's degree, a TESOL, and some kind of experience teaching, obviously. We teach kids ages 4 to 12 on a 1v4 platform, which means there's 1 teacher and up to 4 students. We also have 1v2 when we have 1v1. Now 1v1 is an invite only kind of situation. So your coach will invite you to do that if they feel like you're a good fit for it. We also have phonics classes, which are special classes. I personally teach those. And we have upper level classes that are also special classes that you're invited to. So usually when you're invited to those, you pretty much are booked pretty solid because they need you to be able to be available to teach those classes. So that's partly why I'm booked so solidly, because I do teach those special classes. But it is a wonderful company to work for. It's a very fun and engaging platform. It's game-based. So the kids have these games that we play, and they each get to play their own game. So I can see if they're getting it right, or I can give them a little bit of help and things. So I think the games are fun. Honestly, out of all the platforms that I've taught on, it's my favorite. I don't have to do any lesson prep. I basically just get up and teach. I've taught so many lessons with them, getting close to 1,000, getting up there, that I pretty much know them all, and I can just get up and go. So I love that there's no lesson prep, and the feedback is really, really fast, literally a few clicks for each student at the end of the lesson. So it's wonderful. So I don't have anything before and after really to do. So I love it. It's just my favorite. I fell in love with them, and they're really supportive. They give you, like I said, you get a coach, and if you need help or have questions, they're there to help you.
So Sabrina, what is fully booked for you? Because I know, it can be different for everybody, if you don't mind.
Yes, I teach anywhere from 20 to 25 classes a week. Okay. That's what I open, and whatever I open with them, I am booked. So if I were to open 30 slots with them, I would be solid booked. When there were a few months ago, when we were, things were really busy, I was teaching 30, 40 classes a week sometimes, but I practically killed myself. So I'm like, I won't do that again. Yeah. I have kids and I homeschool, so I have my limits. I marry teachers who can teach like all these hours and all these classes. I'm like, I wish I could, for financially, I really wish I could, but I know my limits. So that's just typically what I work. But whatever I open, I do stay booked with them. And they do, I forgot to mention, require you to be available for 12 classes a week, which is 6 hours. You don't have to teach them, but you need to be available, and you can cancel that. Oh, the cancellation policy is wonderful. Best cancellation policy in the industry, if you ask me. As long as you give them 5 hours notice, no penalty whatsoever. It's amazing. Wow. Yeah, I love it.
Tamara, are you leaving? Oh, you're muted.
I'm a mess. I just want to say something really quick. I have a student who is a student with me at VIPKid, so we're on WeChat together. And then I noticed she was advertising Zebra English. And then I was asking her about the differences or what she liked best. And she actually said QKids is her very favorite company.
Oh, really?
So as far as the Chinese kids, this is just one parent that also does 3 platforms. I don't know, but she loves QKids. So that's a good note, a good sign that the kids love it too.
That's exciting to hear. That really is. And honestly, I get the most engagement from students on my QKids platform versus some of my other platforms I teach on. They seem more engaged than some of the other ones. I mean, you still have classes where kids are like, deer in the headlights, or they're like, got their foot in the camera, I mean, that still happens. But that is so encouraging to hear. I love to hear that and the kids seem like they do enjoy it. So I love it, and it's my favorite company. So they have my heart at this point.
So Sabrina, you've got some love. You got some love in the chat.
Can I just ask a quick question, Sabrina? How long the classes are? 30 minutes?
Yes, they are 30 minutes long. You teach for 28 minutes, and then for the last 2 minutes you say goodbyes.
Okay.
So yeah, so 30 minutes. So, and they schedule them every 40 minutes. Oh, hey, Nadia. I see Nadia. I didn't see, I had the chat there, and then I put it away. But yeah, so schedule, there are time slots every 40 minutes. So you kind of have like this little buffer between classes, which is totally awesome. So you can run to the bathroom, you can run and get a refill on your coffee or tea or whatever you need to do. It's great. I do like that little buffer, especially if I'm having fun with some kids and I'm having a good time on the end page and give them a bunch of stickers and having a good time. I can go over doing that.
Yeah. So you have a question in the chat. What's the pay scale for QKids?
Yes, the pay scale is everyone makes the same base pay. It is $8 per class. And then you have the opportunity to get an extra $2 per class, depending on if there's an attendance bonus. If you teach 15 or more classes in 1 week, you get an extra $1 per class. And then you get a performance base, which is based on the parent ratings. You can, as long as you have a 4 or 5 stars from all the parents, which typically that is very common. It is rare that you don't get those extra $2. So basically it comes out to about $10 a class. I pretty much get that every single class. There'll be like a rare class where some parent didn't like you and they like ding you for something, but it's only for that one class. So, it's not so bad. But so typically you can expect about $10 a class roundabout.
Deanne would like to know if they are hiring.
Yes, they are hiring. They are currently hiring. They have not told us about a hiring freeze or anything. We are opening up our summer hours. They're starting some summer hours next week. And then in July, they're going to open it all the way back up again. So we're going to need more teachers.
Yeah. And she had another question. Deanne, I'm finding it right now. QKids, do they require a speed test?
Yes, they will ask you for a speed test. They'll ask you to see your computer, a screenshot of like your computer requirements, just to make sure that you have the correct upload and download speed. And then they will ask you for, that little screenshot of your computer requirements to make sure it meets it.
Great question. And if you don't mind me plugging, I have a video on how to check it. It's like 2 minutes, 3 minutes long. It just says how to check your internet speed, because I didn't know, so I had to look it up. So.
Sabrina, did you talk about the feedback? I've heard a lot about how easy and fast it is at QKids.
It is so easy. Literally at the end of class, you can do it at the end of class. That's what I choose to do because it literally takes me like 15 seconds. You click like this little evaluation button will pop up and all your students will pop up, and you give them how they did on the lesson at A, B, or C as far as like them retaining the information and learning it. And then you give them a star for participation, up to 1 to 3 stars. And then you give them basically if they're hardworking, focused, they have some tags that you can give that the parents see those things. And then on the bottom half are things that we let QKids know that maybe they had tech issues, there's behavior issues, just maybe to check their level for lower or higher and things like that. Literally, I just go click, 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 done. And that's it. And when I'm done teaching at 9 o'clock in the morning, I can walk away. I don't have to sit down and do feedback or come back later. That's the one thing that I used to hate to have to come back into. It's like, oh man, I got to get the feedback in, got to do it. Especially when you have 4 kids in one class. That's a lot. Because when I worked for Magic Years, I still have a contract with them, but having to do 4 students per class when you're teaching 5, 10 classes in the morning, that's a lot. So that's one of the big reasons that I love QKids too is their feedback. It's so easy.
Awesome. Okay, so I have a question in the chat that I really want to ask for everybody, but it's got to be quick because I know Leah's got to go too. So we need to make sure we save some time for Leah and Rachel, but well, for all of us, but you know what I mean. This was a good question. Did you have other jobs when you started making the move online? I have a full-time job and I'm a bit nervous about overloading myself. So for me, myself, I had just moved from overseas back to the States and I didn't have another job and I was bored. So for me, it was a little bit different. I wanted this as something to do. And I was a brick and mortar teacher for 10 years before, well, 9 and change before I got started. So teaching online just seemed like a different transition. So somebody else want to take it?
Well, I know that there's a lot of online teachers that are full-time, but like you, I I have an autoimmune disease, so I found out that I couldn't work within the public school system because I'm on an immunosuppressant. So anytime during the flu season, it was like, oh, but the schedules for QKids or any of these Chinese-based companies, and even Outschool, you can work them into your schedule, and it's very convenient. You can finish before you have to go to work in the morning, so or work at night. So they're very flexible.
And Stephen, we just say this is like a side hustle when you have another job and you want to work a couple hours here and there.
Yeah.
So
I would say that depends on where you live, though, because in the UK that doesn't work like that. Because our teaching hours, I teach for instance, at the moment, because it's summertime, I teach between 10 and 2 during the day. So for me, in the UK and Europe, it's hard for it to be a side hustle unless you're working somewhere else in the morning, very early, or in the evening. So I'm a bit like you, Kasie. I'd been in schools and bricks and mortar, and then worked in education. And I'd just been working in Brussels, and I was commuting to Brussels to work with an international school for a couple of years. And I was about to freak out and couldn't see the Eurostar anymore. And I came back and I said, I want to work from home, but I don't want to go back into the classroom, into bricks and mortar. And that's why I went into online teaching. But for me, it's a full-time job.
Okay.
It's
Anybody
not
else?
something I just do in the morning. You can't do it. Not in the UK.
I have it as a part-time job, basically, because I stay at home and homeschool my kids. So it's my part-time deal. That's why I only work 20 to 25 classes. Because like Leah, I have autoimmune issues too. And sometimes I can't work, and that's why I have to have flexible cancellation policy. But I know plenty of teachers who they work full-time jobs teaching, and they get up and they teach from 3 to like 6 or 6:30 or 7, and then they go work all day. I'm like, I don't know how they do it, but everybody's different, and you can figure out, and you can just work on the weekends too. I know plenty of teachers who they work during the week and then they just work on Friday nights and Saturday mornings and nights, and they just do whatever works for them to make that extra income for whatever it might be, whether it's to get out of debt or extra fun money or whatever. So but I think it's a great way for us to make money from home. It's so easy, especially with everything going on now. I have a friend who contacted me who's like, we're not going back to work until December now, they say. And I'm like, what? So she's like, I need to do what you're doing. So I'm like, okay, let's get it going. So you just make it work however you need to work it. And if it doesn't work out, it's okay. You figure out a platform that does work out for you.
The good thing is these platforms do not, at least none of the ones I know of, cost to get started. I mean, it might take you a little bit of time to get started, but it doesn't cost you money, so it's worth the time. Yeah. Does anybody else have another job when they started?
So I did. I was teaching, and then decided I wanted to homeschool. So was homeschooling the kids and teaching part-time, basically just going and teaching history, middle school history, and did that for about a year until I'd actually built up my online business enough that I could quit teaching 7th and 8th grade history. So I mean, I kind of, I came in softly.
Good. Okay, let's get right to Leah with Leah. Which one you're talking? VIPKid, right? wait, what shirt do you have on? Okay, we're good. Oh wait, this is my journey.
Okay. Wow. Okay, so I started with QKids, and like many teachers, I sat for 60 days waiting for VIPKid to book. I waited forever and ever and ever and ever. And I did QKids. And QKids does, like Sabrina said, wait, you tell them when you want to work and they'll work you. And I'm working for QKids now, and they send me like little short notices. You want to work tonight? Do you? And I can say yay or nay. So QKids helped me with VIPKid, because I got a chance to get online and teach and practice TPR, because QKids is great for developing TPR. But with VIPKid, because you're sitting there and waiting, you do have a chance to sit and go through the workshops. It's free professional development. And QKids is great for learning how curriculum is developed, because it's also helped in other platforms that I have taught with. I've also taught with GoGoKids. I'm teaching with Outschool as well. So VIPKid really prepped me for online teaching. It really did. Now, what happened with QKids is that VIPKid took over. And QKids, like Sabrina said, is 30 minutes. Well, VIPKid is 25. So it became hard to mesh the two. because I became such high demand on VIPKid that I just said, okay, well, I guess I'll stick with VIPKid. And I did from August 2018 and until now, I have made $3,000 a month, or the highest was almost 4,000. And that means 70 classes per week. And at one point in time, I decided to see if I couldn't kill myself and do 10 in the morning back to back and 10 at night back to back, because I was trying to make up. So you can do that if you're like, I need some spare money. Certain times during the season with VIPKid, it goes up and down, but there are times in the year where you can make a ton of money, and then when it slows down, you can have that spare from that time when it was really booking you. But for me, I've never had a slow moment. Never. Ever had low bookings. Not even now, with a lot of people having low bookings. I could still potentially make $3,000 a month with them, but because I want to help other teachers learn from me the success and how I've been very fortunate, knock on wood, to be able to book like I have been booking. I mean, it's been absolutely amazing. So recently I told my regulars, and I only have about 50 regulars. That's all I've got. But VIPKid likes to throw new kids at me all the time. And sometimes I'm like, stop that. But so I told my regulars today that come July 1st, I'm taking priority bookings only, because I honestly cannot figure out how to do the YouTube side and help and coach and consult other teachers and do the IT support that I do on my channel and on my website, and teach 70 classes every week. Right. So I want this side to really grow, and I really do want to help other people have the success that I have. So today I told them I was going to do priority bookings only in feedback, and I had 20 priority booking requests this morning. And I was like, it's not going to happen, is it? You guys are just not going to let me stop, are you? That's not going to happen. So but I do get to pick and choose who I want to teach. So I love VIPKid. I know that the pay scale has been this controversial thing for veteran teachers like myself, because it is based on how much you teach and how much you have taught. And like I said, coming up on 7,000 classes, I'm not going to take a ding. And like, I believe, I forget who said it, but you have multiple classes. You can fill in the gaps. You have options. That's what you do. I believe it was Sabrina. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. That's why we have multiple companies. I have multiple companies because I enjoy teaching, and I do want to, like I said, I want to scale back on teaching, but at the same time, I want to be able to provide somebody who, like either me or Kasie or Sabrina or Tamara, comes to me and says, hey, I'm a single mom, or I want to stop my day job and become a full-time online teacher. How do you do it? So I have all these companies that you can find out what your fit is. And I started with VIPKid. That was my fit, still is the one that just is the boom, boom, boom for me. Yeah. The other two I'm doing well with, but VIPKid has always been my solid go. I could probably come back out of the priority booking after July and still be like, here they come. But it does. You get tired with 10 back to back every single night. So you do have to take vacations. A lot of teachers worry about taking vacations with these companies. Yeah. Don't worry about it. Take a vacation.
Yeah, that's a whole nother video on another day.
Don't worry about it. So, VIPKid, of course, is similar to a lot of these Chinese companies. You got to have your bachelor's. They want you to have that American accent. I have that Southern accent. We do have some that are more. You're welcome, Melissa. I have met some teachers that have like that slight Latino accent, and they've still been hired. Yeah. As long as it's not super, super thick, they're okay with it. And you must be eligible to work in the US or Canada, but you can work from anywhere in the world. I have a client who actually lives in Israel and works for VIPKid. So I mean, VIPKid is the biggest company for a reason. I don't think it's going to go anywhere anytime soon. They're making adjustments. This COVID thing has hit a lot of businesses hard, so they have to make an adjustment. And that's just what companies do. And like, we're all here. We all have other companies that we work for. So that's how you do it. You balance it out. You got to balance it out. But I love VIPKid. They've helped me become successful all the way around.
Good. And shout out, Monday mornings is your tech talk, right?
Yes, IT teacher tech camp. I have an IT specialist, and I have a guide. I'm waiting for him to tell me if it's correct, but I have a guide on IT support because teacher IT issues can be a huge problem. And also I know how to protect yourself from, perhaps being dinged with a teacher IT by mistake. And I honestly have only had one teacher IT in the 2 years and over 6,500 classes taught, one teacher IT, one. And that was because your router, you have to hardwire into your router, and your router can be going out and your student will know before you do.
Yeah.
So they saw the effects before I did. So we do that every Monday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time live. And he has his own page at teacherleah.com.
Good. Okay, and I know Sabrina's going to leave soon, I think, but you have a question in the chat. What is the hiring process like at QKids? You're muted.
I was trying to unmute myself from here, because that's my habit.
Right.
Yes, the hiring process is pretty simple. Basically, you fill out an online application along with, at the same time, you record a video of introducing yourself with your background, educational background, your experience, and then you read part of a short children's story. You don't have to read the whole thing, but a part of it. Then you submit that. Then they'll send you back yes or no, and you'll move on to demo 1. And then once you pass demo 1, you'll have a demo 2. And then after demo 2, you have trial classes. Typically you teach 2 to 4 trial classes is pretty common. And then after that, they will either offer you a contract or not. So it's not too difficult. It takes a couple of weeks to get through it, as long as you have the time and you can schedule it, a couple of weeks. That's how long it took me. So.
Great. And Ahmed, I haven't forgotten about you. Tess will be up soon to answer your question well, I see she answered it in the chat, but we'll get to that one in just a little bit. Rachel, you are up next.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for having us on, Kasie.
Rachel,
Appreciate it so
every
much.
time you talk, I'm like, oh, she's so sweet.
Oh, you're so sweet too. I love your energy.
Oh,
You're just rocking YouTube. Yeah, this is so much fun because where else are all these people coming together, unlike companies, So that's really cool. I think that's really neat. I'm honored to be here.
Hey,
so
glad you're here.
I'm talking about iTutor today, and just for everyone again, I'll reiterate, it's not iTutor group, just so everybody knows.
And I didn't know they were 2 different ones. And
I know, right?
Talk to Rachel about it, so I'm glad you're here to discuss this.
Oh yeah, no, that's fine. I think it's a very common misconception. When I was calling my, because iTutor is United States based, it's in Jericho, New York, so it's I asked them, do you ever get, it's called iTutor group. I was asking Joe, is I think one of the IT guys, or an IT guy, but he helps with just the interrelations between the teachers and them. That's what I love about iTutor too, because it's a US based group. You can just call them up and be like, hey, how's it going? Right. And he was saying, yeah, we get that a lot. He said, we just tell them itutor.com. It's to help people remember. It's not iTutor group. So itutor.com requires you do have a teacher license, a state certified license. So I graduated back in 2012. So it's been some years since then. But I didn't get my license in 2013. I got married and kind of graduated the same year. And then you wait to get your license as you're taking your test. And so I just kept that active by getting my master's degree during it in special education. And so iTutor hired me as I was getting my master's, but that's what they wanted me was for my master's degree in special ed. So I really like iTutor. I've only been working them for 2 years, but it's so much fun because I get to teach kids in Alaska. That's kind of strange, but time difference again. We have this 3-hour time difference. So here when I teach at 7 p.m. and there it's 4. And so these cute kids are, they're usually in the native villages there. And so it's part of the Alaska project, which is really cool. And so they're working with the government actually to go to these remote schools to teach math. So often it could be anywhere teaching from 4th grade leveled math to algebra and slightly to the advanced algebra, even though so wherever they're at basically, but it's a program of 8th to 12th. But they don't just teach kids in Alaska, they teach kids all over the United States. Credit recovery, they work directly with the public school systems, which is kind of cool. So the kids are usually at school when you teach them. It can be, it's like tutoring, how we all do teaching ESL and stuff. It's kind of like tutoring. That's why it's called iTutor. I mean, it's not kind of like tutoring because you guys teach them, all the way through it. So it's much more than that. I don't mean to say it like that. But where we are in the public school with iTutor, you go into the school, you teachers are usually kind of hovering around, and you might have 1 to 4 kids in a classroom. I've taught kids all the way from preschool and reading up through 9th grade. So the really, really different thing that I like about iTutor is that they send you an email and you pick which kids you like or want. I mean, like, oh yeah, like 3rd grade math, that sounds like fun. I'm available during that time. So whoever sends the email back first, you get that job, kind of like that. And so it's the cool thing is too, it runs the whole semester. So you have that kid, you'll know the entire semester at that time. So that's what I really like about iTutor. It's guaranteed for the entirety. And so the Alaskan project, teaching math. Okay, so I teach these kids 2 hours, 2 times a week, and if they don't show up, I still get paid the full amount. So that's cool too. Used to a mini lesson. So I may be teaching these kids in Alaska for 1 hour, 7 to 8, and if they don't show up, I start at that half-hour mark and I do a mini lesson as if they're there. The platform is kind of like Zoom, where you can draw on a blackboard and stuff. So maybe kind of similar to Outschool in some ways. So you have a blackboard, you can upload YouTube videos to watch if you want something, explain it to, it's very and then they can draw on the screen. And I made an iTutor video recently. I thought maybe I'll just explain this more, what it's about. So if anyone wants to check that out again.
Yeah. Send it to me and I'll add it to the description box. The description box is a little bit of a hot mess right now, but it's everybody.
Oh, yeah, no, that's okay.
Not
those description boxes are daunting. Like so much space. So
it's not you make your own lesson plans, but they tell you what you're teaching.
Right. They give you their background report, like, okay, these are their scores for these tests, and they like to test them themselves also. So here are their scores, and they may work. Sometimes they say I need to work on ABC type stuff. The teachers will tell you that, but you're like, okay, so this is where I'm starting. As you work with them, you kind of get to see where they are at in their grade level and able to build up from there. So it is helpful knowing the standards of that year, so kind of where to put them and where to. Sometimes I pull up the standards, like, okay, they're here and we need to keep on just working through. So a common thing we'll need to do is teach starting with mode, mean, and median, and just doing a fun Skittles thing with that, with sorting them, and I'll show them and because it's Alaska, I like to learn a little bit of UPick too, so we'll practice phrases, like does it, like how's it going, and just different hi, how are you, and we'll go through it together from a little cultural. And only thing iTutor asks you is that you do start out with just, okay, they have a couple slides they want you to have first, and then you can do the rest yourself. They're just like punctuality, talking about punctuality. Let's be nice to each other. They're just 4 like smiley faces. As of right now, in a structure of the class at the beginning, showing you the intro and everything we're going to go through. So showing them the structure and then doing your own stuff. And they have a couple reviews during the year that somebody meets with you on a Zoom call and tells you how you're doing and gives you encouragement. And they're really great at encouraging their people. I do feel very connected with them, which is really nice that it's not super remote. So I have worked for VIPKid almost 4 years in December, but having questions answered and stuff, and they've been very nice. VIPKid is with typing back and forth, but it's fun to meet on a Zoom call with the person above you. So anyway, that's my little thing about iTutor. Is there any questions about iTutor?
I don't see any questions in the chat yet. I did want to ask you though, how much notice do you have? Because once you say yes, you're kind of contracted for that time slot for a while.
Well, the nice thing is in the emails they'll specify how long it will be for. So I am contracted indefinitely with iTutor. Every year they kind of do like a renewal thing. They send out a piece of paper, you sign it, kind of like VIPKid. But it doesn't, I don't have to, I don't know, it seems a little less than, you not in a 6 month, kind of like, I guess when you're a teacher, you'll sign, I don't know, you probably sign for, do you sign every year or amount of years? I'm not sure, because I've only worked in, when you're in the brick and mortar schools, you sign every year.
But it's hard for them to get rid of us, so we kind of knew, we knew that I don't know how to explain it. As a Dodds teacher, we're pretty fortunate. You do have a question in the chat from Tamara. So do you have to have a current teaching certificate?
Yeah. Because you're working with public schools directly. Yeah, you do. Yep. And so they are looking for teachers, and if anybody wants me to be the referral or something too, they can just they can contact me on the email that Kasie will provide. And or you can also just if you wanted to just mention where you heard this from, because they will ask where did you hear it from. You just put you go in the other.
I put your name down with asterisk saying mention her if you go through the
thank you. Yep. So you go through the process. There is no referral link. They're a smaller company, so there's no referral stuff, but you just go through and they say, where did you hear it from? You go other, Rachel Schwinghammer, think hammer, Schwinghammer, that helps.
Good. Okay. Sorry, Kasie, I know you've been waiting a while, and Melissa and Tess, we're getting there. Somebody said, is this going to be an hour? I'm like, yee. I don't think I've made an hour long video in a long time.
3, 4, maybe even 24 hours. Who knows?
Okay, I'll sit here.
It's a block party. I have to go play Outschool.
Yay, have fun.
So it was good talking with you all. Teacherleah.com. I hope to see you all on the flip side. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye. Yeah.
And I'm going to have to duck out too. My kids have an Outschool class.
Yes, you told me
In about 10 minutes, it's a cooking class, so we got to go get food prepped and everything. But thank you again for having me. I appreciate it. You can find me at the Craftaholic Homeschooling Mom. All right. Thank you.
And all of her links are there. I was trying to copy as quick as I could. So I know yours is there. All right.
Awesome.
Thanks, Sabrina. Thanks, Leah.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
You leaving? Soon. Okay. Okay. Kasie, let's hear it.
All right. So Palfish. Palfish is like the social media teaching platform. It's basically because you were teaching on your phone or your iPad. And similar with VIPKid, they do have like AR stickers, but they actually want you to use them as much as you can. If you're teaching like their official Palfish courses, then they really want those to be used like as much as possible. Even in your little mock class, they almost want it constant. So they have like different AR stickers, so that's fun. And you can work, they prefer if you work about 3 hours a week, at least a minimum of 3 hours a week. So I'm going to test it because I have something coming up in like a week or so where I won't be able to do that. But yeah, so I'm going to test it and we'll see. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. I don't know. But with Palfish, it's interesting because they actually pay you with they have like a Payoneer. It's called Payoneer. And then you can get it transferred to your bank account. But I think there's like you might have to pay a little bit for that. Yeah, so I guess it just depends maybe on your bank or something. But yeah, so that's just something, but it's really fun. You have different options. So you can do the Palfish, the official course, or you can do, if you go in, you can just press start tutoring. So if I go into my app, it's right here, tutoring. And what you there is anybody can call you and you could just talk about whatever they want to talk about. So yeah. So I did it, and a guy from China, he called, and he just wanted to talk about a lot of different things. This was more when the virus was really hitting hard, so he was talking a lot about that, and he was talking about like politics and stuff, and I'm like, I don't really do politics, sorry.
Yeah.
but yeah, so but it's it's interesting. You can talk about whatever they want to talk about. So that's fun. It's not like you have to necessarily have like topics to talk about, though it's nice to have things just in case. But yeah, and so
that was a student, Kasie?
That was
a timed paid slot?
That was paid, and yes, it's not exactly timed. So I mean, you could basically talk for as long as bye Tamara. You can talk for as long as they want to talk for. So, and as long as you don't have like another class or something happening, then you could talk for really however long you want, as if you're on the tutoring. And then
okay, gotcha.
Yes, if you're actually doing a course, then it's 25 minutes for just regular course, like VIPKid and QKids, same thing. It's 25 minutes.
And Palfish is different. You don't need a bachelor's degree, right?
You don't, right? Yeah, so that's a good thing. I know with Palfish and Outschool both, you don't need one. So that's a really cool thing about it. And yeah.
Oh, you did. Okay. Interesting. I'll find that out in just a minute.
I know, like they hire 18-year-olds, so you really don't need a
So Kasie, I have a question, because I had a student that taught for a year, and she did really great in like level 1 VIPKid, and then she got to level 2, and of course we did okay like the first 2 units, and then we get to the yes, I sit on a chair at school in VIPKid, and her mom was like, there's too much focus on reading, and she just wanted me to like focus on conversation and focus on having her repeat and have fun. And she like sent me a couple on WeChat, she sent me a couple of poems that like another teacher had taught her during the lesson. And I was like, is this a VIPKid lesson? And she was like, no. And then about 2 weeks after that, she said, I'm just frustrated with VIPKid. I want it to be fun. I want it to be more conversational. So we're just going to go to Palfish. And so now every week she posts like 3 things pretty much right after another, where I can hear Gongling like, it's a picture, and then I hear her like repeating. I mean, obviously she's just repeating something she just heard. But her parents post that. So what's that? Is that like homework, or is that like a class where there's not a live teacher?
So that's a very good question. I know they do have the Palfish reading app, and with that, they have different books and other things. So, and they have a lot of different types of books and things. So I think they get to hear it and then they read it themselves. And teachers could even do it too. So teachers or students, and you can watch, because you can follow teachers and students. So you can see other people do it. And then if you're like, oh, that sounds interesting, then you can do it, or you can pick whichever one you want. So that's probably what that is, because you can do, good question. Thanks, Melissa. So in here, you can go to moments and you can create a moment. I don't have too many. I haven't done a lot, but there's a cat. That was my first one. But yeah, it's a lot like social media. So you can share like pictures if you're traveling, or if you're eating something, if you're just doing something interesting, or just if your pet, whatever, anything that you think might interest students or something, you can share that. And so it's a lot more like social media and teaching combined, I would say. And it's nice because you can choose to do the tutoring, what they say is tutoring, where it's just conversation, and they can be in different places. They're not necessarily just in China. And you can get anywhere from, you could get younger kids or you can get adults. Like the guy that was talking to me about that, all that stuff, he was probably in his 50s or something. So you can, yeah. And so it's very interesting. You can teach just a wide array of different types of people. And I know for the kids course, of course, you get little kiddos. So that's pretty cool. And you can work for Palfish as long as you're either from the US, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, UK, Ireland, well, yeah, okay, you know, yeah, so that's pretty cool. And New Zealand, I don't know if I said that, but yeah, so it's nice because it's available for more teachers rather than just the US and Canada. So that's really nice too.
So Kasie, you have a couple questions in the chat. Is Palfish still hiring?
As far as I know, yes, I believe they are. Mm-hmm.
What is the pay rate at Palfish?
Yeah, so I think on average it's about $14 per hour. Since they do pay in R&B, it is, if you do like a 25-minute class, then it's 55 R&B, and then so for if you teach 2 classes, that would be like about an hour, then it's 110 R&B. So I think it equates out to maybe around $14 per hour. That's what I was told.
Okay.
Yeah, good question.
So do you follow a set curriculum?
Yeah, so they do have their own classes. If you do the kids course, then it's like with VIPKid or QKids where they have the pre-made lessons. So yeah, so with that, like I know with the trial, or with the one that I had to do before I got into teaching, so with the mock class, we'll call it the mock class, and with that, it was about different like animals and things. And so I know, yeah, so they have their curriculum set. So that's nice. You can teach just regular classes, and you don't.
One thing I know about Kasie is she likes animals, so you probably rocked your Palfish mock.
Yeah,
I don't know if you haven't checked out Kasie's channel. She's got a Rock Your Mock for VIPKid. So if you're going through the mock classes, check it out.
Oh, thank you. That's helpful for a lot of things. Like I know I did it for VIPKid initially, but I mean it can help with a lot of other. If you ask for anything.
Definitely, because one of them is like de-stressing, right?
Yeah.
Kasie, I watch.
Thank you. Awesome.
Thanks, Tanya and Diane, for those questions. Anything else you want to add, Kasie, before we move on?
I don't think so. I think that's it for now, unless I get any other questions.
Yeah, if anybody else has questions, put them in the chat. And let's see, Melissa. Sorry, Tess, I feel so guilty. And I just realized what time it is for her, and I'm like, oh.
Well, she can go. Do you want to go first? No? Okay. So I'm here talking about Outschool. Of course, I've been with VIPKid longer, and that is my bread and butter. But what would I say? I've recently rediscovered Outschool, and gotten sort of fired up and excited about it with the possibilities. VIPKid made me love teaching again. I kind of started dreading going and teaching US history and world history to 7th and 8th graders. So I started teaching for VIPKid, and I was like, oh, wait, I really do like teaching children. Hey, look at that. And what Outschool has done is get me excited about things I was already passionate about, because I get to choose what I want to teach. So right now, starting in July, I'm going to start listing like election classes, like how does the US election work? What is the difference between a caucus and a primary? When do we start having general elections? When do they pick the vice presidents? What's the electoral college? Just general things that older middle school, high school students want to know. So I started thinking about, how do I want to present this so that it's fun, so that it's interesting, so that it's not dry. And, like maybe after about 30 minutes of sitting at the computer, I realized I have complete control over this. Like I get to present this material the way that I feel about it, my excitement is what's going to come across to the kids. So really got excited about that. Then I started developing one to follow the election, kind of like, so you can do a one-time course. Like, I'm going to do this course. It's going to be 50 minutes. I'm going to talk all about elections, you know, or you can choose to list courses that are going to meet like once a week for 4 weeks or 5 weeks or 6 weeks. And so that's kind of what I'm working on now. And we're going to follow the election in the fall. And we're going to talk about a different aspect of the election every week, which I think is important for high schoolers to start paying attention, you know, like what's happening? How are we deciding who our leaders are? And not just the presidential election, right? Let's start talking about governors and state congressmen, you know, let's kind of talk about everything, because those really affect where you live more immediately. Like those state laws are going to come from your state capital, right? So anyway, so you can see I get really excited about that. And so that's what I love about it, because you get to go into this platform and kind of present and teach on what you're passionate about. And you do not have to have an education degree. You do not have to have a degree at all. You just have to have experience with children and experience in what you want to teach in, right? So like I can't go in and say, hey, I want to teach calculus. Like that would not work at all. But I have experience with history and English and reading and phonics. And so those are the classes that I could offer. And similar to VIPKid, you're marketing yourself to the parents. Once you list the classes, you create a profile, which, you know, a year ago, when Outschool wasn't cool, right? My profile wasn't awesome. So I've recently gone back in and changed it and kind of, you know, learned a lot actually from VIPKid as well, like how to market myself so I get those students that I want to teach, right? So with VIPKid, your video is geared towards the age group or the levels you want to teach. And same thing for Outschool. You know, I had a very VIPKid-ease video, and I realized, you know, hey, that's probably not appealing to high school students. They might think that my classes sound cool, but then they go watch my video and they're like, okay, I don't want to go to this lady's class. So just think about that. You know, marketing yourself is important. Applying is pretty easy. You just go, you know, you fill out an application. They want to know your experience, your work experience, your experience with children. Then there's like a box where you put like, what would you teach? What interests you? And then you have to send in a video as part of your application. And this is not a video where you are kind of giving your resume or even saying what you want to teach. In this video, they're looking for your personality. So they want to see where you're going to teach, be in your classroom, have good lighting, teach, you know, use the speaking speech you're going to use, give a speaking example, tell a joke, talk about what you know that could benefit their company. So like in my application video a year ago, I talked about how important it is to engage the student on an online platform, and how my experience with online homeschooling and online with VIPKid had taught me how to engage and keep children of all ages participating in an online class. And then I also told them, you know, hey, I have minicam, I have a magnetic board, I have a green screen, I'm going to be able to make my class interactive and fun, you know. So in that video, and just kind of what I found out over the last month, you are selling yourself and what you're offering that company in the video. So don't just kind of reiterate what you put in the application. Tell them what you're going to bring, and bring it in that video.
Bring it. Love it.
And then you get to pick your time. I mean, of course, you get to say, hey, I'm going to teach this class at this time. So a lot of daytime hours available, but there are other hours as well, because it's a lot of students in America, but it is not just students in America. You know, they're in Australia, Canada, New Zealand, the UK. There was one from Kuala Lumpur the other day. So, I mean, like they're all over. So, you know, when you go in to schedule your availability, you're going to see a lot of different hours. So the flexibility is there. If maybe, you know, maybe you're one of those people we were talking about earlier that do go to a job. So you want to teach really early in the morning or really late in the evening or only on Saturday, you can do that. And you can put as much time as you want or as little time as you want into the prep work of the class. With the high schoolers, I'm usually going to make a Google slide, and I'm usually going to email something beforehand so they can have a little bit of idea of what we're going to talk about. With the littles, my teaching style is not really to use a PowerPoint because they like this view, right? They like this Brady Bunch view where they can really see me, they can see themselves if they're sharing something. I use a ReadWell program to teach phonics and reading, and they want to be able to see themselves, and like I read to them and then they read to me, and they just really love to try to, you know, be the teacher and hold that book up so I can see it as they're reading to me, you know. So that's not a whole lot of prep. I mean, I just have to show up, read a book, and then help them read and know what phonics are involved in that reader or whatever. So definitely, you know, you get to pick that. Okay, any questions?
Yes. First mine.
Okay.
Before I forget, because if it's not in the chat, I won't remember. You have to be a stateside, you have to live in the States, right? In order to teach for Outschool.
No, I don't think so.
Because I think, well, Tim said he couldn't apply for Outschool because even though he makes the requirements, he doesn't live in the States.
So it is a list. It's not like every country. There is like a list. I think it's 10 countries that you have to live in. And it is because it is a Zoomed based, you're going to be using their Zoom platform to teach on. Yeah. So you have to live in a company that, or live in a country that makes that company platform available. You're not going to have any problems. So, I mean, it's definitely not every country. No, but there is a list more than America.
I'll have to ask them again. Kelly said, I'm probably going to stick with the one-time classes so she can have extra flexibility. I was thinking of you and Kelly later. You'll have to, I found some books that you guys might be interested in, and that's the publisher I'm with. So for election stuff. Let's see. Does Outschool have adult students?
No, I think it's to 18 years old that can sign up for your class.
Yeah, Kelly said 3 to 18. Do you know if South Africa is on the list?
I don't know, but I can look real quick. I pulled it up right here.
Okay.
No. Oh, and I know what I didn't talk about while I'm looking this up. You get to set your rate of what you're going to get paid. So when you list your class, you get to say, I want $15 from every student, right? So if 7 students show up, they're all going to pay $15. Now, one important thing is Outschool is going to take their 30%.
Right.
So that, you know, I set it a little higher than maybe, you know, that $11 I get with VIPKid, you know, for a class, because I, you know, once they take their 30%, I kind of, you know, I want it to be equivalent. But what I have found is, you know, I've rarely teach less than 4 children. You pick the number of children you want to. You can say my class is full at 4 kids or 6 kids. So you get to pick that. And anyway, all of them have had at least 4 kids. Usually I pick 6 as my number, but all of them end up with 4. And so, like, I mean, if you think, you know, 4 kids paying $15, that's $60 for like 50 minutes a class, or if it's with the littles, a 30-minute class. So you get to decide that as well. So, you know, independent contractor, you know, truly working there at Outschool.
Good. Let's see. So while you're looking that up, let's move to Tess, and then you can answer that in a bit. Is that okay, Melissa?
Yeah.
All right, Tess, thank you so much for waiting.
You're welcome. Only 9:10 here in the UK.
What time is it?
Evening. Hence the light is disappearing rapidly now. Anyway, it's lovely. Thanks, Kasie, for having us all today. This evening. It's really nice. It's a great idea, and I hope people learn a lot from it. So I'm with Wales English, and I've been working with them for about 7 months, as I said. And Wales is quite, I think, from what it's really interesting hearing you all talk about the different platforms, because I don't know other platforms other than, say, ABC. VIPKid I can't work for, because you can hear from my little accent that I'm not from Canada or America. So Wales suits me really well. It's an interesting company. They're doing very well. They have they teach kids, so they teach kids between the age of about 3. So I have 3-year-olds that I teach all the way up to the age 14, 15-ish. You don't see those so much. They run classes that are between 50, either 25 or 50 minutes at the moment. And you have 25-minute classes for the English starter course. So these are great courses. They are for your beginners, and they're just an absolute hoot. You get these little kids, literally the age of 3 or 4, who cannot read a word, and you know, 40 lessons later, they can read. And it is the most satisfying thing. So those lessons are 25 minutes, all the other ones are 50. But if I maybe go back before that and just say a little bit more about what Wales looks for, because everyone's thinking, well, can I teach, you know, what do I need to be able to teach for a particular platform? So Wales, they need a bachelor's degree and TEFL, TESOL, CELTA, that sort of thing. And it is completely non-negotiable, because in China, you cannot teach ESL without a bachelor's degree. So you have to have one. You have to be a native English speaker. So from the UK, the USA, Canada, Ireland, Australia, or New Zealand. And again, totally non-negotiable. Unfortunately, there are lots of great South African teachers, because I've had loads contact me, and they don't hire South African teachers. And apparently it's because of load shedding and the internet quality. That's what I've heard, which is really a big shame, because there are so many fantastic ones. They do ask you to have experience online, and B&M teaching is ideal. And you need to be able to give 8 hours of peak time. So that's from 7 to 9 p.m. Beijing time a week. But you have great pay. Wales pays really well. Their base pay is $18 an hour, and it goes up to 26. But depending on the type of classes you teach, so if you teach trials, and all new teachers start with trials, you can make $5 an hour if you're in the peak times on top of your pay. And then if you convert a student, it's another 5. So the trial classes, if you do them well, can be quite lucrative. You have to, so you how would I say this? So the pay's great. The way the actual teaching works is quite different from what I'm hearing on the other platforms, in that you have 2 types of ways of teaching. You're either teaching in a fixed slot or flexible. Now, they ask you to commit 8 hours fixed slots, and by doing that, it means you teach a regular class, so you follow the same kids over about 30 weeks. So for some people, it terrifies them, because they're going, oh my good grief, how can I take a holiday? How can I, what, you know? So they do allow you to take holidays. You can take 2 short leaves per 6 months, so that's 2 days, or 1 long leave, which is 14 per 6 months. So you can take a break, because it's essential. But the great thing about that is that you know how much money you're getting every single week, because you know how many classes you're going to have. So for instance, you know, I started off and my pay's been gradually going up, and I'm not far off 3,000 a month now. And that's in 7 months. But I do give all my time there, and I teach 18 hours fixed hours. So 18 hours fixed, plus maybe between 4 and 8 over the weekend, which I keep flexible, so I can cancel those ones every week. I don't have to open them. So if I want to have time with my family, go away, then you have your flexible slots, which is really useful, because I could not commit to working every weekend. I need to have a little bit of a life.
Right.
A little bit. So that's really useful. I love that, because you really build this. I mean, the kids I've got, and then they renew. So I'm coming to the end of my first series of little uns who have finished and learning to read. They are all renewing. The renewal rate is about 80% for Wales. So it's really good as a teacher. You follow curriculum. So we have, you know, we use the Oxford Learning Tree. the Biff and Kipper and Chip books. We've got the National Geographic learning that we teach from. We've got the Bob books for the little ones, the ESC learners. So our curriculum's really interesting. There's a load of training. There's a huge amount of support. So you've got a big section on the teacher portal, which just has lots and lots and lots of training opportunities, all the policies, all the, all the rest of it. So there's a lot for you to do for professional development, which is really interesting. There's a great community, because I can't remember who said earlier, but you can be online and you're in your little tiny bubble, and it can be like, I'm all on my own and nobody knows where I am, apart from your student. And actually, the Facebook groups that they have for Wales are brilliant, and they have moderators in their official groups, so teachers can communicate up to management. If there are changes going on at Wales at the moment, they've just had a shed load of money come in from the Chinese education department, and so they are making changes. Some of them are going down better than others, but as it is a changing business, and we develop and have to fit with it. But basically, it's not bad. And the Facebook groups are great, because you really do have this supportive community of teachers, and you really feel like you're part of something, which I love. Now, the other thing is the type of classes you have. So they are typically 1v2. So I teach 2 students, which is, again, really nice, because the kids have loads of opportunity to do peer-to-peer. They talk a lot. That's one of Wales's biggest selling points. They like, parents take Wales because they're not the cheapest school, but they like Wales because there's this opportunity for a lot of interaction with the children. And now they're currently trialing, and I don't know that much about this yet, because I haven't, it's literally being rolled out now. And they're now doing a 1v10, but in fact, it's between 6 and 10 students in a class. But this is just for on-call teachers. So that is a new type of contract that they're starting to roll out, which is interesting. So I have information on it for referrals who could well be offered that. But that's a slightly different way of working. I'm not sure what else I can say about that. The application process maybe is quite quick. I've made quite a lot of videos talking about CVs, profiles, all the rest of it on my channel, Teacher with Tess, because there are so many people applying. They are getting hundreds of CVs a week at the moment. I mean, it's just mad. And so, the referrals I've had, I always ask people to send their CVs, because it tends to be the CV that means they don't get through to screening. There are so many people who fail at screening, because Wales will spend 30 seconds on your CV. And if they don't see that you're a native English speaker, that you have a degree, that you have TEFL, that you got experience, they don't go any further. And you'd be amazed at the amount of people, you look at a CV, you can't find anything. So they may be the best teachers with the loads of experience and qualifications, but they don't get through because they don't have a good CV. So please, anyone who's wanting to apply to Wales, work on your CV.
And your CV is like intro video?
Oh, sorry, it's resume, isn't it? A resume in the States.
Oh, so it's not a video, it's your...
No, sorry, it's a resume. So it really is your resume. That, because you have to upload that when you apply. So when you've got through that, then assuming you're accepted, you're asked to interview. You have a 30-minute interview. You have to give a 10-minute demo class. They send slides, and you have to teach that. And then you tend to find out within a day whether or not you've passed. And when you've done that, then you go through all the onboarding training. And it can take a couple of weeks between interview and starting teaching.
Good.
So that is what I would say is the main thing about Wales. I don't know if there are questions about it.
I don't see any in here yet. I think you did great answering anything I had while you were talking.
Good. I was thinking, oh yeah, one thing you can't do, I've had somebody else, you can't teach, like Kasie, you can't use a phone or an iPad. You have to use a laptop, because they have their own app, their own platform. Other questions, actually, I'm just thinking, They provide all the classes, all the curriculum, all the content is there. You can download it before you look through it. So there's a little bit of prep. You might want to enrich your lessons by adding additional content external. You can screen share with that app, and then you have feedback to do afterwards. But everything is given to you. You don't have to prepare anything.
Yeah, it's kind of like us with VIPKid, it sounds. Actually, a
Yeah.
lot of it sounded kind of similar.
Yeah.
Even the waiting.
I can't do VIPKid. Can't, not the right nationality.
But see, you might not have found whales yet. So
yeah,
it sounds like you're doing great with it. So really quick, we have 22 people in the chat. Please give us a big thumbs up. And subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Hit the bell so you know if when we go live again, or I upload videos. Actually, all but Tess has been on my channel multiple times. So you guys are welcome anytime. Let us know in the chat box what schools are we missing. I got a message yesterday. I think Tess had promoted this channel today, or this. What am I trying to say, guys? Promoted our chat today, and somebody was like, "Oh, you're only picking and choosing certain schools." Well, we did one just the other day. So if you're interested in other classes or platforms, check that one out. But if there's some we haven't thought of, please let me know, because I don't know them all. So I've only been inviting people that I know or that I see online. Okay, yeah, Rachel, we'll have you answer that in just a second. Do you necessarily need online experience? For VIPKid, not really. You needed experience with kids. You needed to have your bachelor's. What about for you, Tess? Do you need?
Yeah, you do. They tend to. They're quite picky as a company. They don't. At the moment, they're very, very picky. So if you're looking to apply at the moment, especially as you know, with the amount of teachers off brick and mortar schools with COVID, they are, and they require at least a year teaching, if possible, ESL online, and bricks and mortar is ideal. But they won't, at the moment, I don't think they'll consider you if you have less than a year.
So you
Maybe
had
they do.
online experience before too?
No, but I joined before this influx.
And you were brick and mortar first.
I've taught ESL for 20 years. So I knew the ESL market, but not online. So I learned.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I mean, online, there's so many things that you could probably count as experience, but I don't know if it's just online teaching. I'm not really sure.
I think if you have amazing experience elsewhere, and you can, you know, if you get through screening and you're called to interview, you just have to look at every single video you can, which is what I did, because I didn't even know what TPR was when I started off. You know,
right?
I hadn't a clue, so I just taught myself everything by looking at a lot of videos. And YouTube is great, as we all know.
Yeah.
Shannon Avery is great with TPR, and she will first tell you that it's not the teacher that does TPR. It's the response of the student. I will not forget her schooling me on that. She's great. Shaniqua, thanks for joining us. Sabrina talked about QKids earlier, but if there's somebody else out there, we'll let you know. EF. Oh, English first. Hey, Ken.
English first, yeah.
I don't know English first.
I
If
don't either.
anybody is a teacher for English first and you want to come on here, you just let me know. We'll do this again. Oh, Melissa asked too. Yeah, I didn't know what EF was when I first saw it. So the last thing we have for you, Rachel, why don't you wanted to tell them about something for Itutor, and then maybe you can tell everybody where to find you and your contacts, and we'll just go around really quick before we say goodbye.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I forgot to say that itutor.com pays $21 to $40 an hour. I get paid in the middle. That's what I got hired for. And so and then I just asked for a raise last year after a year of teaching, and they're like, sure. We don't really have a set thing, so sure. I was like, what? Okay. Yeah. So they give me $1 more per hour. So if that helps. And so to contact me at I'll just give them my name. It's Rachel.Schwinghammer@gmail.com, and they can contact me there, or what I said before with Itutor, they can just put my name in the box for where they heard it from when they're doing the process of state certified tutors. So if you're a state certified person with your teaching certificate, this might be the job for you. It's a nice supplement too to VIPKid or anything else that they're doing. They can also teach during the day, in the middle of the day too. So, because they do target also those kids teaching, they're there during the day.
And I apologize. I need to add more links to the bottom. Everybody has at least one, but I will add the rest of them. I ended up having errands I didn't know about today. And of course I waited till last minute. So totally on me.
And I put that answer about Outschool, the countries for Outschool. I actually went to their fact page. So it's United States, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, or the UK. They did apparently used to hire for South Africa, but quit because something with their internet wasn't working well with, I guess, Zoom. So again, the same thing about, I guess, like Tess was mentioning, you know, if the country's internet just doesn't play nice, they can't work there.
Yeah. And Jason and Rachel, I added you as moderators. Jason's always here answering questions for me too. And Shaniqua, I am making a list, so thank you. So I have a couple more, 51 Talk and EF, English First. So keep putting them in there if you can think of any, because I have no idea.
Yeah.
So Melissa, did you want to mention your
so I have it.
Hey guys, help me out. You know what I'm trying to ask. You've been to these a lot.
So I guess I have a Facebook page, VIPKid Friends. You can also find me on YouTube. Just starting to grow that channel. Not a pro here with YouTube, but it's teacher Melissa Miller. And then my podcast, Mornings with Melissa.
That's what I was trying to get to. That was the word I couldn't spit out. Podcast.
Yeah.
And
And so you can find me on YouTube, which is Teach with Tess. I'm on Instagram, Teach with Tess 1. And if you want to email me, it's teachwithtess@gmail.com. Feel free to contact me if you have any questions about Wales.
Great. And Kasie and her minicam ready to go. Every time I see your email, I'm like, oh, baby.
Baby.
Right?
Yeah.
All right.
Right. So you can see my email and my website, and yeah, you're ready. And also on YouTube, I'm ESL with a Gypsy Soul. I have like a mouthful, like all over the place. And I also have a podcast like Melissa, and mine is Unicorn Teachers. So yeah, that's how you can find me.
I got to be a part of it. Super fun.
You did. That was so fun. Yeah, I love having teachers on, so anybody's welcome anytime.
Excellent.
Let's see. We have a question in the chat. Did they already discuss the VIPKid survey about bookings? So I didn't get asked the survey. I don't know about it.
Oh, it's
Melissa,
interesting.
you want to talk about that really quick since it's
super interesting. Yeah, I started getting a lot of messages on my Facebook page and private messages, you know, asking me why they were asking this and what was happening. You know, and it's just basically it's like 15 questions, and it goes through and asks you, when do you open your slots? What do you like best about the platform and opening your slots? You know, pretty benign. And then you get to that second page and it's like, hey, would you like it if we automatically open slots for you that you normally teach? You know, and,
I did see that buzzing around.
yeah. And then it was like, what if we gave you the option to tell us whether or not to open slots? Or what if we open slots that we knew were more likely to be booked for you? You know, like the last 5 questions were all, you know, hey, what about that? And then how long would you like to be booked for? You know, so it said like 2 weeks, 14 days, and then there was like 32 days or something, booked like 32 days out. And then, you know, yeah, it was, I don't know, like I am really hoping.
Yeah.
I particularly don't like the 4 week in advance, just because I like the flexibility of kind of figuring out what I'm going to be doing in 2 weeks. And I've been doing this for 3.5 years, right? So I'm used to kind of planning my life in 2 week increments. And so, you know, I tend to deny all the 4 week ones, but when you click no, because I clicked no, I was like, no, I am not at all interested in the company opening automatic slots for me. It took me to another question that said why. And it had like, you know, you think you'll miss a booking, or you think they'll book you for classes you don't want to book, or times you don't want to book, or the cancellation policy or whatever. And I chose other, and I was like, all of the above. Right? like every single thing you just said. So hopefully it'll get shut down. I don't see any teacher like, I mean, I don't know, maybe somebody would, but I don't know any teacher who would like it.
Going on in the chat.
Yeah.
I just had to say no to about 30 bookings, just taking the 4th of July off, and they didn't rebook. Just because that one day I said no. So it's 4 weeks in advance, but first for Starlight, they booked 2 and then 4. So most of them that asked for 4, a bunch of them canceled the 2 also. So I've lost like 30 over a month's time, but they were all for mostly the same slot. So I guess you know, once it was booked, it wouldn't have been 30 anyway. But let's see.
Yeah. There
was another. Oh, did you see there was a new 1-hour writing course for VIPKid? I already certified.
Yeah. I posted that earlier in VIPKid Friends, and then I had a lot of people who were like posting their screenshots, like got it. It's a lot like VAE. So if you taught the VIPKid Advanced English classes, it's going to be a lot like those. I do think it's going to be really important for the kids to actually bring some writing to class, whether or not they use that digital upload.
Right.
You know, it's just hard for some kids to get that done. But if they bring anything to class, it's, you know, going to be more productive than trying to go through a writing class with nothing there to edit. Right.
Right.
So, yeah.
Right. So it was because I saw your post between classes. I saw your post and I was like, ooh. Because Tess, I don't know if you know, but like they take so many. So there might be, you know, 1,000 slots for 100,000 teachers. Probably not like that. But so as soon as something opens, you want to be like, apply. And then you go back and take your quiz. So between classes.
Wow. Okay.
And then
you go click apply and you get your spot in line kind of, you know, but it only stays there for 12 hours. If you don't complete at least one module or quiz in that certification, you lose your spot.
I've never had that happen. Never. And I've had some open for like probably a month.
Oh, wow. Well, that's that's the official word. Oops. It's okay.
I mean, go get it done, everybody. My voice of VIPKid, I pushed applied and I've been terrified. And it still says I can do it.
It's quite interesting because Wales doesn't do that at all. You know, we have our slots that we open because it's a fixed, when we open our fixed slots, we open them for 30, 40 weeks, which is for Melissa terrifying. I know. Oh my God. But you know, for me, it's during the day. So it's a day job. It's my job. So for me, committing to, because I'm not about to stop working. So it's not a problem for me. But the company gives, you know, I open slots and then the profile that we make and upload on the portal is viewed by the parents, and the parents will choose you from the video and from the profile. Right. That's just my video I uploaded today, girls. Exactly that.
Tess, what was I going to ask you? Oh, what did you say the Beijing time was for that, for your fixed hours?
How many you needed to commit to?
Right. Is there a certain time?
Eight peak hours. So basically, it's between 7 and 9 p.m.
Beijing.
So Monday to, you know, so that's, you know, it's not massive. It's doable. And then you don't need to. You don't need to. I mean, a lot of teachers work over the weekend because you can work Beijing time from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. if you're completely mad. But for me, with my time zone, you know, I'm way too old to start teaching like you guys.
I've done 20 classes in 13 and a half hours. That was a little crazy.
Yeah. So you mean you're teaching kids in Beijing? Well, no, you're teaching kids on Beijing time, 7 to 9 p.m.
Yeah.
So
for me, that's midday to 2. That's the peak hours.
So it'd be 7 to 9.
I'm a little jealous here, Tess. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe if my peak times were 10 to 2, I could commit to 30 weeks out. I'm just saying.
Yeah. No, it's interesting. I think for European teachers, it's a lot easier, or those over towards Asia, when that time difference is not as brutal as it is for you guys in North America.
So I love Tessa's accent. She sounds like the Queen of England. It's so beautiful.
Oh, darling.
And
I'll just get my tiara out.
Right? And you have a question. I wonder what the cancellation policy is like at Wales English.
Yeah, so that's a good one. So you're allowed to have, because I did anticipate a question like this, you can take emergency leave. So, you know, people, if you're sick, if something happens in your family or whatever, you're allowed to take emergency leave. So obviously the sooner the better. You can take, I think it is 3 in your 6 months, in a 6-month period, without having any sort of penalty at all.
Three days?
Three times emergency leave. So, you know, it is to be used in emergency. It's not like some of the other platforms when you can just say, no, I won't be there. But it's a different way of working, because it's as if you're in a school. It's the same thing, except you're online. You have a curriculum, you're take a 2-day leave, and then you don't have penalties either.
Oh, that's good.
I felt left out with Melissa and Casey's being able to put up their emails and stuff.
Oh, I can't do that. It's not too cool.
I know, they're always good at that.
I love ManyCam.
Rachel's like, here's my whiteboard.
I know.
I love it.
I will add it, Rachel, as soon as we say goodbye, I promise.
Teach me how to do ManyCam.
Yeah.
Yeah, ManyCam.
Yeah, please do, Kasie. Do something on ManyCam.
Yes.
What's that?
All right, yeah.
I need help.
Do you use ManyCam, Kasie?
Yeah, no, the other Casey.
Okay. Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, not it. That's why mine is just the renaming of my name on Zoom. All right. Wow, everybody. Thank you so much for coming. Rachel, I know you got to go. We've been on here an hour and a half.
Oh.
I know. Melissa, do you have something to say, or are you just like, wow?
No, I'm just like, my gosh, we have. Thanks for sticking with us, everybody.
I don't know how it happened. We had a night call for 2.5 hours the other day.
Yeah.
What'd you say?
No, I was just going to say, are you putting sort of time things for people if they're looking for different schools?
You know,
roughly.
The last person that did it for me was Danny. The one from the other day, she did it. I was like, oh, that was a good idea. I will try.
I don't know.
I don't usually watch my videos back.
No.
Yeah.
Especially when they're 1.5 hours.
Yeah.
I get embarrassed to hear my own voice.
Yeah.
I know it's weird. It's my own little thing, but also why I go live a lot. So I don't have to edit and go back.
Okay, good idea. Fair enough.
But I think it's a great idea, and I probably will
if you have to.
No, I probably will unless somebody else goes through it like Danny did.
Yeah.
Okay. So that is all I have. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming. You guys were awesome. All the links will be below if they're not already. I think everyone has something on there, but I'll make sure as soon as we end this that I update that. Thanks for coming in the chat.
Thank you.
Thanks, Candy.
Yeah, thanks you, Kasie.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.